Feeding on leaves and vegetation, elephants use their trunks like humans use their hands. African elephants lose heat from their bodies by flapping their enormous ears. Their wrinkled skin, though over 1 inch thick, is very sensitive to sunlight and insect bites. Elephants spend much of their time feeding. When one source of food is exhausted, the herd moves on through the forest to forage elsewhere. The alligator is a specialized and ferocious aquatic predator. Its eyes are set high on its head so that it can see above the water when its body is submerged. The jaws of this massive animal are ideal for grabbing and gripping prey. A dedicated parent, the mother alligator will guard her eggs until they hatch. When they hatch, the young are like miniature versions of the adults. They stay with their mother for several weeks as they grow. High in the Alps, the terrain is rocky and covered by snow or ice all year round. Large glaciers cover vast expanses at the highest altitudes. Little animal or plant life can survive in these conditions. The shore-footed ibex can run over the icy rocks without slipping and is protected against the cold by its thick coat. Water from melting snow gushes down gullies that have been carved out of the rock over thousands of years. The meltwater feeds into major European rivers, including the Rhine and the Danube. American beavers live in lakes and rivers from Canada to Mexico. 2 layers of insulating waterproof fur keep the beaver warm in cold water. The beaver's diet mostly consists of bark from trees. Its mouth is specially adapted to carry branches without swallowing water while swimming or diving. Beavers use vegetation to make their homes in dammed-up streams. These lodges give them security from predators and a place to store their winter food supply. Living in water, soil, or even inside animals, an amoeba moves by liquefying part of its cell and pushing out projections called pseudopodia. The rest of the cell slowly catches up, and the amoeba moves forward with a top speed of about 1 inch per hour. Nesting material is scarce in the frigate bird's coastline habitat. By inflating its red throat pouch and flapping its wings, a male frigate bird warns its neighbors not to steal the precious wood it has gathered. It also uses its throat pouch to attract a mate. The snow that falls incessantly onto Antarctica is packed into a deep layer of ice. Deepest at the center of the continent, the ice flows slowly toward the surrounding ocean. Here, huge slabs up to 150 feet high break away, forming floating icebergs. Despite its unrelenting climate, the continent boasts a surprising amount of sea and land life. The dense plumage of these penguins protects them against extreme cold. During the early part of its history, the Earth was a hostile environment incapable of sustaining any life. Hot molten rocks from the Earth's core shot into the air from the volcanoes that covered the planet. These violent explosions formed thick clouds of ash and liquid rock called lava that flowed in red-hot streams down the sides of the volcano. Aided by heavy rains, these lava streams gradually cooled and solidified, adding to the solid crust that formed the Earth's surface. The white-tailed sea eagle flies high over the water looking for fish. When it sees one, the bird glides over the water and snatches the fish with its talons. The eagle cannot eat on the wing. Instead, it takes its catch to a perch or to its nest. Black rhinoceroses feed on their own or in small groups, using their hooked upper lips to grasp vegetation. The rhinoceros uses its horns, which are made of matted hair, to intimidate intruders that stray into its territory. To escape the heat of the African savanna, rhinoceroses take frequent baths. This also coats their skin with mud, protecting them against insect bites. With smooth, streamlined bodies, bottlenose dolphins move with ease through the water. Like all sea mammals, dolphins need to breathe air, so they swim close to the water's surface. They travel in social groups and work together to hunt and catch fish in the ocean. A butterfly undergoes a major change when it becomes an adult. This is called metamorphosis. The butterfly expands its head and thorax, splitting the pupal case and allowing it to pull its body free. To begin with, its wings are small and crumpled, but they expand as blood is pumped into them. Within 2 hours, the new butterfly is ready to take to the air. At one time, coniferous forest covered almost all of the western margin of North America, from California north to the Alaskan Peninsula. During the last century, much of the original forest was cut down. These forests are home to some of North America's best-known wildlife, such as bears and eagles. The mild and rainy Pacific climate allows trees to grow to more than 300 feet tall. In central Costa Rica, high mountains intercept moist air blowing in from nearby oceans. Most of the moisture turns into rain, producing a year-round deluge. Trees and other plants grow to form a dense and impenetrable jungle, nourished by the rain and tropical heat. Scuttling sideways on 4 pairs of legs, this tropical fiddler crab relies on its surprising speed to escape enemies. Crabs have good eyesight and can sense danger approaching in the form of vibrations in the ground. When cornered, they defend themselves with their powerful, heavy pincers. These are also used to pick up and manipulate food. The crab is also protected by its hard shell or carapace. When sandhill cranes wish to find a partner to mate with, they perform an intricate courtship dance. The dance helps the pair to form a close bond. The cranes leap into the air, flapping their wings and bowing their heads. When one crane starts dancing, its neighbors often join in as well. Fall is a time of preparation for hard times ahead. Deciduous trees absorb the nutrients in their leaves and then shed what remains. Their changing colors show this process taking place. Many animals spend the fall collecting food for the winter ahead. This food can be eaten and stored in fat reserves or gathered and hidden away near the animal's lair. A vulture can soar on currents of air without having to flap its wings. Soaring allows it to travel a long way with little effort. By hovering, a kestrel can position itself over its prey. Hovering is hard work, and the kestrel needs a light breeze to help it stay up. The scent, color, and shape of a dicot flower combine to tempt pollinating insects onto the plant's sexual organs. These are usually housed within the flower, which opens when they are mature. In some plants, like these cacti, each flower lasts for several days, opening at dawn, closing at dusk, and then opening again the following morning. Other dicot plants, such as roses, have flowers that stay open both day and night until they wilt. Fruit bats rest by hanging upside down from their roost. They're easy to identify by their fox-like faces, long snouts, and large, alert eyes. The bat's wing is supported by long, thin finger bones covered by flaps of skin. Fruit bats use their keen eyesight and sense of smell to hunt for food, usually at dusk or dawn. Different species of fruit bats have different diets. Most eat fruit, but others rely on nectar and pollen or tiny insects. The Galapagos coastline is formed from sheets of lava that poured down from the volcanoes in the center of the islands and solidified on reaching the Pacific Ocean. The coast receives little or no rainfall and supports only drought-tolerant plants. The sea, however, provides food for a variety of birds and aquatic animals, such as the marine iguana. Geckos are climbing lizards. They often use their tongues to keep their eyes clean. There are several species of gecko, and they are found mainly in tropical climates. All geckos are good climbers. They can cling to vertical and smooth surfaces, using strong adhesive pads on their toes. When a falling raindrop strikes the papery exterior of the puffball mushroom, a cloud of spores is ejected through a hole in the upper surface of its ball-shaped fruiting body. These spores are so small and light that they can be blown hundreds of miles by the wind. However, only a tiny fraction will fall on suitable ground and germinate into a new puffball colony. Despite their awkward-looking appearance, giraffes can run very quickly for long distances if threatened by predators. The giraffe's extra-long neck allows it to strip leaves and twigs from tree branches 20 feet above the ground. It moves its jaws from side to side to grind up the vegetation with its cheek teeth. Giraffes tower above the other animals of the African savanna. It takes 10 years for the young to reach their full adult size. When they're active during the day, bears are constantly on the lookout for food. With their sensitive nostrils, they sniff the air for the smells of live prey, rotting carcasses, and other food sources. Bears are not afraid of wading in rivers or lakes to look for salmon or other fish. When they spot their prey, they dive into the water, grab the fish with their sharp claws, and then tear off its flesh with their teeth. During the daylight hours, each male hippopotamus maintains and defends his territory in the water. By opening his mouth very wide and showing off his long canine teeth, or tusks, the male can intimidate a rival who intrudes into his territory. Intruders are threatened or attacked until they retreat. In order to feed on the nectar of flowers, a hummingbird has to hover in mid-air for several seconds at a time. To achieve this, the hummingbird beats its wings very quickly. So quickly, in fact, that individual wing beats cannot be seen. The feeding bird remains rock steady in mid-air before abruptly darting off to feed at another flower. A 50-ton humpback whale and her offspring swim in the cold oceans of the Antarctic, feeding on plankton. The whale's streamlined body slides easily through the water. Its skin is smooth, apart from the clusters of barnacles that form on its head. The broad and powerful tail flukes push the whale forward with such force that it can soar into the air before crashing down and diving to great depths. Powered by the contraction of their transparent bells, jellyfish swim gently through the sea. The thick mass of tentacles that trail behind the swimming jellyfish can sting its enemies and drag food into the animal's digestive cavity. Jellyfish do not have brains or sophisticated sense organs such as eyes or ears. Instead, they possess only a simple network of nerve cells that work like an electronic pacemaker, firing off signals, making the bell contract, and propelling the jellyfish forward. A school of killer whales swims near the surface of the ocean, hunting for seals, squid, or other prey. It's easy to spot these hunters by the appearance of their tall dorsal fins when they break the surface to breathe. Killer whales are commonly seen from the land because they prefer to hunt in shallower coastal waters. Leafcutter ants collect small pieces of leaf to take back to their nest to use as fertilizer for growing food. It takes an ant several minutes to cut away a piece of leaf, which it then grips between its jaws and lifts over its body. The ant is capable of carrying a leaf fragment much larger than itself. The edge of the leaf is always carried in line with the ant's body. This makes it easier to carry into the ant's nest. Some predatory spiders, like this Mexican red kneed, prey on birds and small mammals. Even over rough terrain, they are quick and agile. Many spiders have poor eyesight, but they make up for this by sensing movements in the air with the hairs that cover their body. Special mouth parts, or pedipalps, detect vibrations in the ground. The highly flexible body of this millipede is made up of many armored segments. Except for the first 4 and 1 or 2 of the last, each segment bears 2 pairs of jointed legs. Whereas centipedes have a wiggling movement, millipedes creep slowly over the ground, successive waves of movement passing along their rows of legs. Norway's mountainous west coast is a landscape sculpted by successive ice ages. It is riddled with sea inlets called fjords, steep-sided valleys carved out by glaciers, now flooded by seawater. Freshwater waterfalls cascade down the mountainsides, especially in the spring as winter snows melt. Oil spills can cover vast areas of sea and coastline, forming a thick, sticky layer that floats on the water's surface. Oil breaks down a seabird's natural ability to insulate itself from the cold by damaging its waterproof feathers. It can also harm its digestive system if swallowed. Although oil is a natural product that breaks down over time, it leaves helpless creatures struggling in its wake. Polar bears are strong swimmers and dive in cold Arctic waters to catch seals, fish, and other prey. Young male polar bears play fight to practice the skills they will use when they get older. They bare their teeth to intimidate their opponent and use their strong forelimbs to wrestle each other to the ground. Plenty of sunlight makes its way through the warm, shallow waters surrounding the Polynesian islands, providing perfect conditions for reef formation. The reefs are built by huge colonies of tiny animals called polyps. Each type of polyp constructs its own particular shape of coral, producing a wide diversity of complex patterns. Nearly 1/3 of all the world's species of fish live on coral reefs. Their bright colors enable them to recognize their own kind. The porcupine fish has a box-shaped body with spines that normally lie flat along the body. Using its fins and tail, it swims along the coral reef in search of morsels of food. If the porcupine fish is threatened, it puffs itself up with water. This has the effect of making it look much bigger and more threatening, and it makes the spines stick out, making it inedible. When danger passes, the porcupine fish returns to its normal size. Primates come in all shapes and sizes. This lemur's forward-facing eyes and grasping hands and feet are common primate features. Ring-tailed lemurs are both ground and tree dwellers. They walk on all fours and use their long fingers to grasp and feed on leaves and fruit. Gorillas spend most of their lives on the ground, whereas gibbons are experts at moving from tree to tree. The diamondback rattlesnake hunts small mammals and birds, killing them with a venom-injecting bite. It is characterized by its broad head and by the rattle on its tail. The rattle is made up of loose rings of hard skin that the snake shakes from side to side. This warns animals that might tread on it of its presence, and is necessary because the snake is well camouflaged. Rays move gracefully through the water by passing waves along their wing-like pectoral fins. A ray's mouth is on its underside and is adapted for feeding on shellfish and worms on the seabed. Rays spend much of their life lying on sand or shingle, camouflaged by their patterned skin. The spiracles behind the eyes open and close to draw water in over the gills. Siberia's inhospitable northern forests are made up of a patchwork of evergreen and deciduous trees. The winters here are so cold that most of the trees are stunted in their growth. Water often cannot drain away because of a layer of permanent ice beneath the soil, and so it collects into pools and swamps that dot the landscape. This king snake moves easily across the desert landscape. It flicks its tongue in and out to taste the air for the scent of prey. It can slide forward in a straight line or bend its body into a series of S-shaped curves. All snakes have a flexible spine and powerful body muscles. By contracting and relaxing these muscles, the snake pushes itself forward in a fluid motion. In the spring, the snows of winter melt, and the steady rise in temperature triggers the germination of most seeds. Young plants break through the soil and start to grow. Spring is a time of fast growth, when many plants burst into flower. By midsummer, most flowers have come into bloom and are beginning to form seeds. In many plants, flowering is activated by the changing length of day and night. Insects take advantage of the long days to gather nectar from flowers. This helps the flowers to spread their pollen and reproduce. Mucus on the body of this clownfish prevents the anemone's stinging threads from discharging and harming it. This arrangement allows the anemone to feed off any scraps of food that drop from the clownfish's mouth, while the fish can hide from predators among the anemone's threads. Tawny owls are expert flyers and have excellent sight and hearing. They have a strong curved beak and large forward-pointing eyes that cannot move in their sockets. To see to the side, the owl must swivel its head, which it can almost turn full circle. Their wings are short and rounded so that they can fly between the branches of trees. They have fringed wings to muffle the sound of their flight, and feathers on their feet and legs. Tigers are the largest of the big cats. Their striped coat provides good camouflage when stalking prey in their forest home. Until about 6 months old, young tigers are dependent on their mother for food and protection. Older juvenile tigers are more adventurous and like to explore their surroundings and hunt for food. Their long, sensitive whiskers help them find their way in the dark, and their large, sharp canine teeth are used for gripping prey. A tornado or twister forms when air swirls around at high speed, forming a spiraling column that connects the clouds with the ground. The center of the column contains air at very low pressure, and this sucks up any loose objects on the ground and pulls them into the air. Most tornadoes last for just a few minutes, but they can cause severe damage. Tropical fish live in the warm waters found near the equator. Many species swim among the beds of seaweed and the coral reefs that fringe the shores of tropical countries. Some tropical fish feed on seaweed or coral. Others hunt for the tiny animals that inhabit the reef, and some prey on other species of fish. The bright colors and patterns of these fish help them to recognize others of the same species. After a long migration across the ocean, a female green turtle hauls herself up a nesting beach. Using all 4 flippers, she excavates a deep hole in the sand and lays her eggs. After covering the nest, she heads back to sea. When the young turtles hatch, they scuttle toward the waves. The stunning Angel Falls in Venezuela is the highest waterfall in the world. The cataract leaps from a flat-topped plateau and plunges more than 3,000 feet straight down the sheer mountainside. A fine spray thrown high into the air soaks the surrounding hillside. At the base of the falls, a dense rainforest grows, the combination of water and sunlight producing an environment teeming with animal and plant life. In winter, many plants stop growing altogether. Without plant growth, no new food is made. Some animals can cope with the reduced food supply, but others, such as geese, migrate to warmer parts of the world. The lack of animal and plant life makes winter a desolate season. Zebra fights are a familiar sight on the African savanna. Zebras live in families that consist of a male or stallion and his females or mares. Stallions without females may try to steal them from family stallions in order to mate with them. Fighting stallions bite the neck and legs of their rivals and also kick out at them with their hind legs.